And we're live.
And we're live. Hi, folks. Anyone who tuned in on YouTube and was waiting with bated breath for our live stream of the website redesign working group for Node.js, welcome. We're going to start off the stream with a quick introduction of all the folks on the channel. Some folks here may not have worked very closely together yet, and I think it'll be helpful for people to just get to know each other. Starting on my screen, I'm just going to ask Oscar to go first.
Hey guys, so for those of you who don't know me, I am Oscar Gonzalez. I'm a designer at LinkedIn. That's how I know Adam. He mentioned that you guys needed some help with the redesign, so that's why I'm here. I do have a background in front-end development as well. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Super. Next up, Ben. You just got muted, Ben.
Yeah, I think I intended to unmute myself, but did the reverse. So anyways, hi, I'm Ben Mitchell, Oben source everywhere. And I work at Envision App. Manil and I work there together as DevRel. And we, I'm involved in various capacities with Node.js Foundation Community Committee, OpenJS Foundation stuff, and just really excited to be here and talking about things on the agenda. And yeah, this is a great initiative.
Cool. Sagir, would you like to go?
Sure. Yeah. So hello everyone. I'm Sagir. Sagir Khan. I'm based out of Bangalore, India, and this is an odd time, but that's okay. Yeah, that's how it is with most of the US calls. I'm a staff engineer at Walmart Labs. I have a background in front-end engineering. I've been building stuff on the web platform for almost a decade now. I've been involved with the redesign initiative for about 8 months or so. Really excited to be here. And it's amazing collaborating with so many people across the globe, all you folks. Yeah.
Thanks, Sagir. Would you like to go, Tierney?
Yes, sorry, fumbling for the mute button. Hi, I'm Tierney Cyren. I'm a developer advocate at Microsoft. I've been trying to help the website redesign initiative for like 3 years before it was the website redesign initiative. And I'm just very happy to be here and see this being moving. Yeah, so I'm also participate in the Node.js community committee. Recently have been participating more in the security working group and just doing kind of automation stuff around Node. So.
Cool. Thanks, Tierney. Thanks for introducing yourself, folks. My name is Manil. I am a ComCom member and participating in the website redesign working group. Let's get started with the agenda. First things first, if anyone on the Zoom call would like to hop into the agenda and add their names to the list of folks present, that does help us out, keep track of just how active these meetings are. And then we'll dive right into the agenda. We have for our agenda 4 items in the that have been gathered from issues in 2 repos. Just to remind folks, in addition to the website redesign repo, website redesign also has purview over the Node.js.dev repo, so issues are likely also coming from there. That repo holds code for the site that is currently being built right now for that top-level domain. If anyone wants to add any issues to the agenda, I think now would be a good time. You can just call it out and I'll add it to the list here and we can get to it. Oscar, I believe you wanted to give a couple updates. Is there an agenda is there an issue I should drop in to categorize that, or is it just freeform?
I believe it's freeform. Actually, since I'm new, I guess I have an excuse, but how do I see the agenda? Is it in GitHub or?
Totally. I'm totally happy to like walk folks through this. I think it'll be helpful to explain this for folks who are also in the YouTube stream, and this is being recorded. So in the website redesign repo, under issues, you will find the meeting issues that are generated for each meeting. They typically have the title Node.js Foundation, website redesign, strategic initiative meeting, and then a date. That's auto-generated by a tool that we have, and the same tool is used for multiple repos just to help generate meetings and like populate the content of that issue with all the relevant stuff. So if you click into it, I'm just pasting it in the Zoom chat here. This is the latest one. If you click into it, you'll see a breakdown of when the meeting, the time zones for the meeting time, just to make it easier for folks not to have to quickly go and like search for that in the web for their own time zone. And then you can click into links for your own time zone too. There's actually 2 links for that. I've never clicked the second one. I don't know how good Wolfram is with that. Below that is the link section, and there you'll find a link to the Google Meeting Minutes doc, and there's a new one provisioned for every meeting. So if you click into that one, that will take you into a Google Doc where which has been pre-filled by sections that we use. The section that we want to add ourselves to when we add ourselves to the meeting is the present section. We just add our name and the GitHub handle. The GitHub handle is necessary because, well, it's necessary for us to track, but it's not necessary for us. No, let me rephrase. It's necessary for a tool that we use to track, but it's not necessary if a person doesn't have one. There's a tool that we use to see folks coming to the meeting, and it like searches for like handles in the doc, and then like populates this like tabular sheet. I forget the name right now, but it's all there for different groups. And below that, under like the repo headings, there will be a list of GitHub issues that have been gathered from around the Node.js org. Anything that gets tagged with website redesign, I think it's WR redesign is the tag. Anything that gets tagged gets automatically added here by the tool when it's generating the meeting artifacts. So it's pretty automated, which is very, very helpful because this is pretty much the repetitive work of meetings. This is a very useful tool. I hope I answered most things. Did I miss anything out, Oscar, that you might want to know?
No, I think I got it. I did had some action items on my end, but since last time we talked 2 weeks ago, so I just wanted to provide some updates on those. Maybe I could add them for the next, so we can track them. Maybe I can add them to that list for the next meeting.
Yeah.
I can totally do that. No worries.
We can also talk about them now if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to take, since I'm pretty new to the project, I just wanted to take a step back and see, what the project really is and what we're trying to do, and all the information and all the work that you guys have done already, which is a lot. So I'm still reading some of the issues that you have on GitHub and all that stuff. But the action items that I have specifically on my end that we talked about last time, where I was going to start doing a Google form. And let me show you what that looks like right now. And this is so that we can get some feedback from the community, right? So let me show you. Right now, this is really useful for me just to make sure that I know the audience really well. I know they're basically developers, but there might be other people that we're not accounting for. So these are the questions that we have. We did talk about maybe having or publishing a tweet somewhere so that people could fill this out. It's only 4 questions, but it would be really nice to have people actually take this on. So I'll talk to Adam. Is Adam the right person to talk to about like maybe launching this in Twitter?
So we do have to go around like privacy stuff.
Oh, okay.
We already have a group that sets these up relatively regularly. So they can literally just clone your form, and that'll be fine. And then we can share the data like that's straight or anonymized back. But yeah.
Because right now it's under my I don't know if we want okay, cool.
But yeah, we can do that. I can try to reach out to the user feedback initiative, which are the group that does that, to see if they can get this spun up. And then from there, we can ask the foundation to share it from the official Node.js account, which has like 500,000 followers. So
awesome.
We should be able to get that.
Yeah, that's cool. And that will also let everybody know that the redesign is coming and get everybody excited as well. Yeah. And also some accountability on our end to actually make this happen. So that's always good. So that was one thing. The other thing was we looked at Google Analytics with Adam briefly. A couple of things that we found is, well, we kind of now we're completely sure that people are just going to the website to just click on a link. You guys have a lot of visitors, 445,000 in the last 30. I think we looked at maybe 20 days, the last 20 days. But however, the bounce rate is 71%, which is really high. People are only looking at around one page, which is the home page, and the one next to it, like the one that they're visiting the most, the second one would be the docs, and it's only 4%. So that means that people are just literally just going to the first page, clicking on the download, and that's it. And we did find out that most of the users around, I don't have the numbers here, but most of the users are actually new. So it would be a great opportunity for us to like push them to maybe get started, maybe some tutorials, if that's what we want to do with the stuff that you already have on node.dev. So that's good. So we did that. And then I have started to do a style sheet and doing the 3 basics of any product, which are color, typography, space, and iconography. I read somewhere that we were going with font awesome. Is that what, or we're open to other things?
For iconography, I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's up to you, like,
I believe someone opened an issue at some point around font awesome, but whether that was adopted or not, I can't be sure. I'm going to do a quick search.
Okay, cool.
If that's not been finalized, I think we'd probably be open to your suggestions. If you have any.
Yeah, I do actually. So yeah, that'll be actually really good. I thought you guys already had something going on there, but the idea is that I would be giving you, this is something that I did for a client of mine. And the idea is that we would have a style sheet where pretty much everything that we're using in the website would be in there, as well as if anybody wanted to take this and make their own theme and all that stuff, they could just take this and do it as well. So I've been looking at the types of, I was playing around with the type scale as well, and reading some of the stuff that this guy had done already, Adam. So I was playing around with like some of like what would look good on a website, like Node.js, and the type of like type scale that we want to use and all that stuff. So I'll have this done by the next meeting. Like by this, I mean the actual style sheet, all of this. So we would include the colors, typography, a space, quote unquote, system, with elevations as well, proposed elevations, and then some containers, and then also a grid and layout that we could use, and also some other type iconography that we could use as well. So this is all like proposed stuff. We'll revise it on the next one, and then you guys will tell me like if it's a good direction for the website.
That sounds good, Oscar.
Awesome.
I'm dropping in a link to maybe you've seen this. You said you went to through the issues, but this is the currently open iconography spec from a while ago, and there have been some suggestions, but I don't think consensus. So
cool, awesome. Yeah, so I'll make a suggestion, and then we can, as a team, say, yeah, let's go with it or not. Obviously, I'll stick to non-paid stuff, open source stuff. So yeah, and have you guys thought about a typeface or a font that we would want to use?
So I believe we have like an official font. Let me, I believe it's Open Sans.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons that I think that, yeah, the numbers are slightly frustrating to me. The numbers are slightly frustrating to me because it's like I think that's probably there's a lot of survivorship bias in there, of like I've been looking at this site and using it and designed parts of it for 3 years, and I have a hard time finding stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it looks like we use Open Sans.
Okay, perfect. Oh, and that reminded me as well. There was an issue that had the tree, like I call it the information architecture of the site. I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know if do you know what I'm talking about? It had like we looked at it last time.
Oh yeah.
Can you send me that? That would be awesome, because I can put it on, like in my visual format, just for myself, just so I can see how the user could move from one page to another.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Ooh. Now.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Manil.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks.
I think it's this one. It was opened a while ago, but it's
think
that's about right.
Cool. Oh yeah, this is it. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I'll revise it, and if I see any issues, we can go with this. But if I see any issues with whatever we collect from research, because people might say, I just want to download and get started, and that's it. That's all I want. So we could prioritize that, and then have all of these things as a secondary experiences. So yeah, and that is it on my end for
also
design.
I do want to say that spec, the design spec, was the foundation spec, the one I was looking at for the font. So if that font works for you, that's great. If there's something different that you'd like to propose, that also works. We can go on the path of proposing that.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. That's good. That's good that you guys are open to maybe suggestions as well. I know we do have we have to stick to the colors that we have.
Yeah.
So we do have a typeface as well that we have to, at least consider. And then is there where would I find the logos and all that stuff. Is there a?
I can give you the link for that here.
Awesome.
Give me just a second.
Thanks,
Cool.
Tierney.
Yeah, no problem. I go to this page a lot and I never am able to find it. So
Cool.
there you go. There you go.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, my two tracks of work is the visual, like purely visual stuff, which I just show you with the style sheet and all that stuff, but also the IA of the website, right? Like what's going to be the most meaningful experience for the type of users that are coming to the website the most, which apparently so far are practically new users. However, the goal is to get also people that are not so new to the website so they can learn more, right? Is that what I'm getting as well?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Like we know that our audience, so far, I think most people have given us feedback that like our website is mainly for downloading like the binary and that's it.
Yep.
And some people go to the docs. I think you mentioned 4% of folks who land on a website go to the docs, which is rather small, but you know, maybe if things were designed better, it might direct more people towards the docs. But at the same time, it's like folks coming to download the binary, they should definitely be given resources. And the goal of the site is to probably intuitively figure out what folks need when they come to the site and present the options to them in a way that they can find it and pick the one that works for them.
Yep.
Did you happen to see data in the analytics as to how many people landed on the site and left without doing anything?
Yeah. So, well, that speaks to the bounce rate, which talks about like bounce rate is really just how many people got to the site and then just didn't do anything. Like literally just went to the site. I don't know if by clicking on like a download, if requesting a download counts as an interaction on that page. I think what a bounce only counts is if you get to a page and then you just exit, like you just navigate somewhere else. So it sounds like 71% of the sessions were bounce. So they got to the site and then they didn't do anything else after that. But again, I don't know if that's counting the clicking the download or not.
I don't believe it is. And that page, it links directly to the pack, like the tarballs or downloads themselves, and those don't get tracked. Like we track that in a different way, and we could actually probably correlate those two numbers. But
right.
Yeah, we don't necessarily. That's not counted as an action. And I also think we will have a hard time justifying measuring that as an action.
True.
So
True.
yeah.
And then I didn't look at. I mean, we only had like literally 10 minutes, and it was with me and him because obviously he didn't want to give me like his credentials, so that's perfectly fine. So I just didn't have a chance to like really dig deeper on like where did these people come from and all that stuff. We did see that most of these are just looking for Node.js on Google and is an organic search, which is pretty much how people are getting to the site. But it sounded to me that it was like new people trying to download this thing, clicking on that thing, and then that's it. And then they would like either look at videos or learn about Node somewhere else, right? Like read docs and all that stuff somewhere else. So it would be interesting if we can change that, right? And then increase that page view from one page. It was actually 1.78 pages to maybe more than that, 2 or 3 or whatever. But we'll see.
Woo.
Yeah. But hey guys, I have to drop off. But is there any questions you guys have for me before I go?
Not particularly. Just thank you.
Yeah. It's exciting to meet you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. I'm actually really excited about this. So yeah. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And then I have for action items stuff that I told you. And for you guys, I don't have any action items, right? I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't believe so.
cool. Awesome, guys.
Surface. Oh, do you have 30 seconds, Oscar?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to surface that if you do need more information from about the analytics, you could you could actually probably send a request with specific questions, and whoever has access to it will probably respond to the email. It might take time, but I don't see why they'd be against sharing insights and their own interpretation if you ask specific questions.
That would be awesome. Yeah, can you send me that email?
I think I was thinking about the person who we were speaking with. There's no.
Oh,
yeah.
It was just Adam. I could sit down with Adam again and kind of like borrow his stuff, but like it was just like me literally sitting right with him. And he was showing me his computer. Yeah.
Maybe it might be helpful then, I think, to get a foundation contact, someone who has access and knows who regularly interprets that information.
Okay.
And share insights.
Got it.
Yeah. So if you need that, maybe you can open up an issue with a request for that, and someone will answer. One of us will be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. It's good to know.
Resource you have access to. Totally.
Yeah, it would be awesome if we can track that after the launch as well. So see if it was good or not. So
yeah.
Cool. Awesome, guys. I do have to go, but yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. That's
yep.
Right.
Cool.
Good to meet you, Oscar.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, on to our next item in the agenda. That took a disproportionately large chunk of our meeting, but the rest of it doesn't seem like it might necessarily take as long, especially the last one seems like a short discussion. So we'll just move on to issue number 158. I'm going to put a link into the chat for you all to follow along. Issue number 158. It deals with the data contract for how API documentation will be consumed. I think within the scope of this, we have a couple of other issues like consuming localized docs from I18N. And we also have another ongoing issue to create a spin-out meeting for I18N. I think the issue number for that spin-out meeting that I've linked through 158 is actually wrong, because issue number 4 is very, very old. And then also creating a navigation and section proposal. I'm not exactly sure how connected that is, but anyone who wants to can add context to it.
I'm taking a look. Not sure. Yeah, I think this probably was regarding having the right rail, like table of contents on the page, I believe. So the way we are doing it right now is through YAML. So actually through the metadata font matter. What Honor was suggesting was to move to YAML, and I think Ahmed had some concerns around it. But I still don't see how this is actually connected to the data contract.
Okay, that's a good point. I'm gonna remove it from the stuff from within the scope of the data contract and updating the issue. Thanks for that, Sagir.
Cool.
So for this, it seemed like at least the next step for consuming localized docs for Node.js IATN from Node.js IATN modules. The next step for that one was to create a spin-off meeting. But it's possible that we could just centralize the conversation around just consuming the API documentation as a whole. And as part of that, we would also figure out how we consume the localized docs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to be sure, we're on the, we are discussing issue, sorry, we're discussing that issue, right? Issue 76?
That's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think there's a couple different factors at play that we need to consider, but definitely in the case of website redesign, I think the pertinent issue is consuming, the conversation, the group conversation around how to get our module in a place to where it can be continually consumed. So like maybe automating some of this. And I don't know if for IATN, if that means having a release cycle or something like that, and working through that as an issue so that we can kind of regularly push this out and make sure that, things are up to date with what's coming down through Crowdin. But I think there's other, there's other action items in the IATN working group that need to be taken care of. I think in the case of our initiative, we need to, or in the case of website redesign specifically, the IATN action items would be to dive in where things left off with that level DB conversation, and figure out if, dust off the, the current build and module and see if that is where it needs to be consumed, I suppose, and in a way that is in parity with how you've been, how the redesign initiative has been developed. So I don't have a lot of context on the architecture of the new Node site. So I'm like these things would just have to, I'd have to do a little homework, and we'd have to continue in conversation to figure out, how y'all can best consume it. So I think that conversation definitely needs to be set up, but that also brings up bigger issues for IATN. I'd like to see us get back in to get into a working group meeting cadence, because it's just, I think a lot of issues have been with bandwidth and drive and pushing that forward. So it would be nice to create a regular sort of cadence again so that we can support, the initiatives that utilize what we're doing like this. So there's that. I think, it's basically like the people who have been developing, the IATN repo and module to date need to start meeting again and also meet with this team, I guess is to summarize. Let's see.
I have a question around consuming the IATN docs as it stands. So if someone on the Node.js .dev development team wanted to implement like an MVP of like just consuming localized docs somehow, is there something, if there a resource we can give them to get started so that like anything to point them in the direction of here's how you can get this working?
Yeah, I think so. It's mostly a matter of, I believe so. I think, again, coming out of sort of Coming out of a lot of work in other spaces right now and just coming back into this, I don't have context, enough context to give you an answer to that at the moment, but it wouldn't take much time for me to figure that out and pass along the relevant information. It may be like I have to say that word of mouth right now, or it may be like maybe, you know, if maybe there is something in the contribution guide, I don't know. But it's a matter of figuring it out and yeah, getting back to you on that.
Sure. Yeah, if that's if that's possible, then maybe a possible next action for us regarding consuming localized modules would be to create an issue where someone who wanted to tackle this could find information right now.
Right.
Would you be able to create that then?
Yep.
That way they, like, if they did reach out and someone did want to say that, did want to take that on, they'd be able to ping the right folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need some use a use guide or whatever, however you want to word it. But yeah, that's definitely something to do. I can work on that.
Or this issue already exists, issue number 76. Maybe this would be, yeah, if it's an entirely different issue or it's about like helping someone use it, then maybe a new issue is worth creating. But otherwise, there is this issue for consuming localized docs, and any information. People would probably find that if they went looking for how to consume it.
Yeah, I think a separate issue, like this is more of a how's it going to happen? I think the next step beyond how is it going to happen is creating a guide for people to use it. So I think what I'm interested in is resolving this conversation and creating that guide. And that's going to take a little conversation with members at play here in issue 76.
Super.
Yeah.
Related to that too, there is no, actually, that was it. This issue 158 was meant to discuss creating a data contract. But I think some folks who wanted to see this happen aren't present in the meeting. And I wanted to ask them how they envision this would work. Okay. Does anyone have anything to add to this particular issue? Discussion. Cool. If that's all, then I think we have just the one next action for ITN, and then we can move on to the next item in our agenda today, which is the foundation redesign brief. I believe the foundation redesign brief is what Oscar spoke about.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, I'll just update this and retitle the notes that we have in our minutes around Oscar's updates with that one. And that's done. Okay. So next up, we have consuming no, that was already covered by this one. That is super. Perfect. So we have one more. We have issue 243 in Node.js.dev. It's a self-nomination to add Benny Cheney as collaborator. I'm pasting the link into here. Cool. Does anyone want to speak to this?
Yeah, so I've commented on the same issue. But yeah, Pen has been contributing for a while now, and most of them are like high quality, awesome submissions. I think it would be valuable to have them on board as a collaborator and have their unique perspective on the initiative.
Thank you, Sagir. I think the process for us to have it, to add Benny Cheney as a collaborator is just, I think we don't even need a vote for this. They can just self-nominate, and we've discussed it, and we could just add them. Are there any objections to that?
Nope. Yeah. So it's been almost 10 days that this issue is open, and nobody has raised any objections.
Right.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we should be fine. Would you be able to take that as an action item, Sagir, and add Benny Cheney to the Node.js.dev repo as a collaborator?
I'm not sure if I have the permissions to do that. I would like to do that, but I'm not sure.
Are they already a member of the organization?
No.
Okay, so Adam needs to do that then.
Right. Cool.
Okay, I'm adding a to-do. And CCing Adam. All right, and that's resolved the last issue on our agenda. We're very efficient today. I feel like these meetings are a model for how things get done. Does anyone want to add new items to the agenda at this stage, or anything for private discussion?
I think we still haven't decided what page we are going to take up next from the wireframes on Envision.
Okay, that is, I believe, have an issue number handy, or I can go find it. Wireframes.
I'm not sure if we have an issue for that, but we did. I remember talking about it on one of the meetings in the recent past.
There is a really old issue that is actually still open. Is this, would this add context, Sagir?
I'm just taking a look. C15. Yeah, so if we look at the wireframes, the last time that we were discussing, so we've actually we already have the learn page more or less done. The discussion was which page do we pick up next, and I don't think we agreed on any of them. So I don't know. Do we want to discuss it now? We actually don't have enough people to actually arrive at a consensus. But I would want to like push towards the home page before approaching any of the other pages.
That's fair. I don't think we need to arrive at a consensus in this meeting, but this is a forum for discussion.
Yeah, so the homepage would be a good idea to tackle, but then we would need some content. One would be content, and the other would be also we'll actually need proper data around things. Like, for example, there's a section which says who uses Node.js. We're not sure if, I mean, these are just placeholder
I can
icons.
go and see if I can get permission from companies to put their logos there.
Oh, super. So then we could actually have an accurate list of companies using Node.js. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But I think that
I
might,
will also tweet that. Just that's an easy way.
okay. I think then it might take a while before we actually have that list. I think the lowest hanging fruit would be the docs, because we already have the docs in the Node core as markdown files, and if we could just consume them and have something as like the initial prototype, maybe. I think, yeah, we don't have to wait on anyone or anything for that. We can just get started working on it while we collect the data and stuff for the homepage.
It's possible that some of Oscar's work will involve will affect the data on the homepage. So that sounds totally cool to me. I think getting started on consuming our docs, it could be. Are there any materials that we could use for someone to get started on this? Is there an open issue? Actually, is probably a better first question.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So I think a good next step would be to have an open issue for doing that. Then hopefully someone will grab it. Otherwise, someone who is already working on the project can grab it if we put it up there. Is there anyone on the call who actually wants to grab this right now? It seems like a big undertaking. So
Yep. Yeah. I could take a shot at this, but I've just yeah. So I was in the middle of a career transition. I just started at Walmart Labs this Monday, 2 days back, 3 days back.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Woohoo!
Yeah, thanks. So I'm not sure if I'll have the time, because I'm like ramping up and settling down and getting to know people and systems and stuff here. But I could like create like a draft PR, put my changes up there, and have others take it from there. I could take us like an initial pass at it.
yeah, that would be totally super. Something that gives people like a stake in the ground to like start working on it, because I think you do have good context for it because you have been working on this project. But then other people can take over at some point if you want them to, if there is something that exists in GitHub already in the form of an issue or a PR.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
Super.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I am adding this discussion about wireframes really quickly to our notes.
So, Manil, sorry, I've had too many things happening and I haven't been taking notes. I'm so sorry. I saw someone else doing it. A question I have about the logo stuff. I feel like that might actually be better as a possible ComCom initiative of like, does your company use Node, and then have that in a repo, and then also allow us to like allow people to opt into it, and also allow us to get sign off from them and like get this from the foundation of like, what do we need to do to be able to use their logos? Because it turns out it's not easy to be allowed to use a company's logo. Do we think that this is something we should try to manage inside of the website redesign initiative, or is this a general kind of community thing that we can also leverage from the redesign initiative, but can also be useful elsewhere?
So So ideally, we would want to do this where we have a lot of eyeballs. We've got people looking at, like somehow we need to get this in front of people where they can probably then put their companies down as users of Node.js. So yeah, it's a good idea to get inputs from the community, uh, but not necessarily to be run within website redesign.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's the best place. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll create an issue in ComCom instead. I was beginning to create one in Redesign, but I realized, oh, this is probably more useful elsewhere.
Super. Yeah, I'm puzzled with that. Awesome. Also, well, I'll take the advantage of the silence while folks are typing right now to mention that if y'all are traveling to Berlin for the Collaborator Summit, y'all should put in a travel request. The way you put in a travel request is to go, and that's if your company isn't able to pay for it. I think like some companies do, but it really depends like from people's work situation. So if y'all go to admin, I'm looking for the link so I could paste it in here. Here we go. I just pasted it in there. So if y'all have been collaborating on Node.js and want to join the Collaborator Summit for folks to sync up in person, please do go to the travel fund and make a travel request following the process there. I think it's pretty detailed right now. We've been iterating on the application process for a while. And also related to that, if you want to submit a session to the like there's a CFP open. So if you want to submit a session to present at the Collaborator Summit, please do. I will also link you to the issue. Note that this isn't a CFP, like it isn't a conference CFP of sorts. It's basically the audience are collaborators for Node.js and now the wider OpenJS Foundation. So other projects that are within the OpenJS Foundation, like Appium and ESLint, and actually not sure if folks from ESLint are there, but Appium folks are definitely there. So it's going to be just a bunch of collaborators meeting and discussing and possibly creating cross-project collaboration. So that is the audience for anything you'd want to present. And also typically our Collaborator Summits have folks discussing like initiatives like we do here, but there are certain items that are best resolved in person. And those are especially good candidates for in-person sessions at the Collab Summit. So that CFP link oh wait, did I paste the right one? I did not paste the right one, the last, oh, thank you, Sagir, awesome. Yeah, so if you want to submit something for website redesign, please do, details are there. We have something already in there. So we will be having a website redesign session at the Collab Summit, but that doesn't mean nothing else can be discussed. If you want to propose something else, maybe for an entirely different group that you're a part of, also feel free to do that.
Okay, thanks, Manil.
Cool. And we are almost at the top of the hour. Was there anything last minute that folks wanted to add to this meeting? Okay. I know at the end it's basically a formality. Most people don't add something at the tail end of a meeting. I think there's a bit of a social pressure to.
Can I ask a really quick open question?
Totally.
Regarding internationalization and the website redesign initiative, what is the best way for us to continue to cross collaborate over time, do you think it's just setting up periodic meetings, or do you think it's through issues?
My question would be,
I mean, in regarding like contextual stuff, like consuming a module, things like that. Should we? I guess it's something that's going to evolve over time. I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm a half-baked thought.
No, it's worth discussing. My perspective on regular meetings are to provide a recurring forum for folks to bring information to for an ongoing project. In this particular case, if internationalization needs to sync, or internationalization has frequent items that land on the table that need to be discussed with website redesign, then we should definitely have a regular sync. But if it's more ad hoc, where a question might come up, and then folks need to collaborate, even if it's ongoing, I think that issues are the better way to do that.
Yeah, sure.
But that's my perspective.
Thanks, Tierney. See you, man.
Thanks, Tierney.
I'm host, actually, so I'm going to make you host, Manil. I forgot about that. So I'm glad I just didn't end the meeting. Sorry. I'm making you host. When you end the meeting, it should end the stream.
Okay, super.
Just letting you know that.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think maybe I was just trying to contextualize. If there's ad hoc items to be discussed, then I mean they're going to end up as issues, and we'll discuss them here in the relevant working group, recurring working group meetings. I think maybe what I was trying to get through was the difference between that and larger initiative overlap, like what we've been working towards with consuming the module. So it makes sense. I think it's just a initiative by initiative sort of thing. Cool. Yeah, I think that answers anything that I had to say or ask. ask or say, whatever.
I noticed Sagir muted and unmuted themselves. So I wonder if that was a signal that they want to say something.
Not really.
Okay. So sometimes I've started noticing in Zoom calls, if I don't have facial cues, sometimes I'll see like folks about to make that movement, like, oh, I want to say something, but then they don't say it. Then I'll see it. But because our videos are off, I go off cues like muting and unmuting. Probably not the best proxy. Great. Were there any last comments?
No, thanks for orchestrating this.
Super, totally happy to. Thank you, folks, for attending the meeting. I think this was very, very productive. We got a lot of resolutions out of the issues we want to discuss, and a fair number of next actions, which is always wonderful. It's always good to have a next step. Awesome. I am ending the stream now.